Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with our first finalist, the rank 1 Terran player in the world in the red. It's Clem, facing off against his greatest nemesis, and of course, the rank 1 Protoss in the blue, the smiling assassin. We have herO in a best of 5 Terran versus Protoss grand finals to another Wardi Monday night StarCraft 2 tournament. And before we get started, it'd be incredible if you could smash that like button or maybe even subscribe. And we got the algorithm. And Jimmy, what are we at? 1,889 likes in this video, in this cast, and I'll cast another one. I'll probably do it anyways, because I don't know why I'd do anything else with my life. But thank you for watching. Hopefully, you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better, as clearly the probe has already scouted out and tapped a few SCVs on the shoulder, letting him know he's around, and now the Reaper's going to do much more and call it equal. But the first probe's coming out, and Adept not quite done, and the probe in the unit's lost tab. Reaper grenade, a lot of damage, and the citizen's arrest will be attempted, but the Adept is enough to drive it away. 2 more gates on the way, and that's it. No Stargate, no Twilight, just straight up gates. Well, soon to be warp gates. More relevantly, the Adepts, Adept and Reaper playing will they, won't they? Uppy downies. Other are aggressively childish things, but, well, speaking of not growing old, another probe will be taken down, but the probe's body block, not enough! And he tries to come back in for more, but the Adept staring him down and, well, would say some strong words if they had a mouth, but I have no mouth, but I must balance wine. The Protoss conundrum. But, crouching probe, hidden pylon. It's just gateway unit. It's just a bunch of gateway units. The simplest, oldest, and potentially most effective strategy when they're doing something weird. Just go kill them. I don't think that's likely to happen against a Clem who was relatively conservative, just now expanding. And the simple fact is, Clem has scouted most of it, and herO did expand. But there's just 2 Adepts and a probe. The probe probably the most intimidating, but, Cyclone comes out, locks the door in his face, and then opens it what? Okay, no! Well, he's gonna finish what the probe started. Wait, what? You can't just let him in. You can't leave the door open like that. This isn't Canada. He loses 3 SCVs. The Reaper came in and got some more probes. The Adept... He killed them both, right? 4 Adepts, 5 probes dead. To 3 SCVs, a Reaper. Oh, but the Cyclone in the trees, he can't see it. But no, the Cyclone! 1 HP! The math on that is absolutely ridiculous. And the numbers don't lie. They spell disaster, potentially, for herO. The fact he got that close to killing it is incredible. And the fact he didn't is incredibly demoralizing. But a single SCV contracted out. He's definitely going to complete it. But no, what a save! Oh! Perfectly calculated. No notes. And no further contracts. And no bids on those contracts, most importantly. As a single SCV repaired just enough to bait herO into sending in the Adept. But herO's not done. Some might argue he's never been. And he's only just begun. And Clem? Well, I don't think he'll be having any fun, as another set of gateway units warped in under the sun. And right now, the bunker, the siege tanks, the Cyclones, there's a ton, but... Oh no! He shot the Cyclone with his tanks and his guns! And what? Well, that... He's like, I'm supply blocked, I need another siege tank. Succeeding you. I don't know if he was trying to take out the rocks or if he was literally trying to free up supply for a tank, or he'll tell him it was a traitor, but that Cyclone was in the multiverse, born to die. It should have died in the first attack, but instead, a liability, making everyone uncomfortable to be around it. That's what they'll say. Terran's experts at revisionist history, and only probe. Another Adept gets in. And those SCVs were not repaired. More Adepts get in. What is happening? Who did he bribe? The Cyclone's family. Begun the Clone Wars have. a civil war of sorts, and 4 SCVs dead. The correct number in that situation should have been 0. The Adept should have never gotten in. But it's not 0. It's herO, who has a Shrine to Dark on the way, because of course he does. The Dark coming back just 2 months now. He's actively looking for a team. He's still top Grandmaster, just unable to play tournaments. It's fully confirmed. I'm excited. And I won't hide it. All right, that's not my job. The Raven actually taking a lot of damage. Is Blink done? No, Charge is. A couple more probes dead. herO's aggression, despite all the damage. It was also a lot of units traded out for relatively little. There's a hallucinated warp prism in the edge of the main, which doesn't really serve its purpose if you don't show it to your opponent. But sure. herO has plenty of vision on the map, because he knows, of course, the map is dark and full of Terrans. Well, metaphorically. In this case, there's no Terran, besides that one Raven back there, but... yeah. Over the lagoon. I don't think he spotted the Dark Shrine. The Raven that would help with it. On the other side of the map, the Charge Lot's chasing down some of the Marines. No combat shield. Force fields! Optimistic. And this pylon still very much here. With the changes to Warp Gate, and to be clear, herO did pay the warp tax, that 25-25, obviously. But those pylons warping it incredibly quick. The Charge Lot's overwhelming the siege tank. But the biomass is high enough that he's able to drive it back with the critical number of Marines and Marauders. +1 infantry weapon is about to complete for Clem, which is a pretty huge deal in this case. A couple Dark Templar being warped in, because of course they are. As he swings over to the left side, forces the SCVs away. The DTs. Clem, does he have a scan? Maybe. Does he notice the Dark Templar? Absolutely not. And yet another troop of gateway units will make their way into the main, into the natural, into the mineral line, and gut Clem's economy. And now this is real damage. Before, a half dozen SCVs here or there trading out the Adepts, but forcing out the scan, which is an economic damage in and of itself, and killing multiple SCVs while forcing the mining time to be dramatically... Sure, DT Blink. Why not? Well, usually because it's incredibly expensive and hard to make worth it in an actual fight. But... which is a boring and sad explanation. And why 4? Because it's cool. Alright? It's a campaign upgrade. And even though he knows the DTs are there, the scans are not. And the Raven was taken out a while ago. The Orbital Command, under fire, on fire. He's going to go to the front. And, well, the Gateway Army's kind of trickling into the fray. Widow Mines will slam into both the Stalkers and the Zealots alike. And herO biting off more than he could metaphorically chew. Clem, the thing is, Clem still hasn't lost many actual... much of his standing army. He's lost SCVs. He's lost a significant portion of his infrastructure, but he still has 4 medevacs and a bunch of bio. Actually, 6 medevacs now, which is kind of pushing the limit. And the DTs in the trees. Oh my, you can barely even see them. We have the observer cam, and the DTs are cloaked. Stay in the trees. Meanwhile, herO taking a 4th base to the 3 o'clock position, which is unlikely to be scattered. Finds a great surface area. The force fields are thrown out. Still of dubious value. The DTs are sent into the mix. The scan blinks into the main with the hallucinated Phoenix for vision. And that was a lot of effort to get his special operatives into the main base. Was it worth it? Emotionally? Maybe. He did not kill the Dark Templar in the corner of the base. Clem? Well, he's seen most of this. Has he seen... Oh, he's also seen the right side. I think he sent out at least a Marine, but herO's going on 5 bases, while Clem is still on 3. The thing is, herO continues attacking and trading away his army. He doesn't want to let Clem get to 200, but he's running the risk that if at some point Clem takes out too much of the Protoss army, he can just start tearing across the map and kill everything before herO can refill. We've seen that dozens of times before, but we've also seen herO manage to overwhelm Clem and Terrans just as often, maybe more so. But a drop over to the right side. Stalkers warped in. Blink is only done for the Dark Templar. He recalls some of the units over to the extra base. I'm gonna call it extra because it feels like he doesn't deserve to hold on to it. But for now, his grasp is tight enough. Meanwhile, Clem is ahead on supply. The DT in the main will spend its life making one reactor uncomfortable. They have feelings. Somehow. That single repair SCV contracted out. Hallucinated Colossus. Will he convince him? Probably not. But getting that high ground vision is always an important piece of the puzzle. The medevac about to be taken out. Everything underneath as well. But herO has managed. Well, herO has never found a lead he couldn't cut himself out of. herO just lost 30-40 supply. He warps in another couple dozen. But Clem is up by 25. herO, where are you going? To the front! No! He will not sit back. He will not relax. The best defense is a good offense. But I feel 10 more Dark Templar. Why not? Again, because of the incredible cost and significant risk, and the fact that they're simply just not very good as a fighting unit unless your opponent literally cannot fight back. He's going to try to flank with DTs. Clem has to see the shimmer. He blinks in a little bit late. There's a ghost. EMP could be useful. He walks away with some of the Dark Templar. The concussive shell's breaking their, I assume, fragile knees. And Clem, again, this is starting to look more one-sided than a Mobius strip right now. He killed a few Marines. He keeps going. The DT's blinking. Forces another scan. Merges into Archons mid-fight, but he does it after the EMPs land, which is important, but not before the Widow Mines do, which is less important for herO. Well, or maybe more so. It's really hard to tell. But herO is at 100 supply. Clem is going to take down the rocks and block things out. Another wave of Zealots is warped in. He's got a dozen gateways. He's building actual Colossi. His thermal lance is beginning to extend. Means I'm pretty far ahead of it. But the Warp Prism retargeted by Clem. Or just a happy little accident. I choose to believe he actually targeted. That's something Clem does on a very regular basis. The Warp Prism. He's trying to do the 4-stalker harass that we usually see at like the 5-minute mark. But 10 minutes later, here we are. herO has lost 6,000 more. He's lost 121 Zealots. This is not... 121 Zerglings would still be a lot. 121 Zealots at 15 minutes. He just... herO! The Prism cancels the warp in. The Martyr Prism is taken down. Do not recall those stalkers. Do not dare. Some Colossi on the way. 3-3 upgrades have begun. herO has had the 3-3 upgrades for quite a while. Alright, another EMP. I think he EMP'd his own orbital too this time. Oh, maybe not. EMP does reveal the Dark Templar and strip away their shields. Double Colossus. Would you stop? Just... So, the problem as well is if he stops, then Clem will reach a critical mass of units. But herO has how many bases? 6 Nexi, going on 7. He's got proxy pylons all over the map. He's got 12 gates, 2 robos, which honestly feels like a little low on production. He's had the income lead overwhelmingly for the majority of the last 10 minutes. But, well, Disruptor's on the way. A clutch of Zealots will be slammed by the Widowmon, softened up. The Colossi will demonstrate how they are the natural predator of supply depots and missile turrets. Of course, they're also prey of Vikings in an odd scenario. A drop to the top left, a drop over to the 3 o'clock as well. We're mixing and matching the sort of cardinal directions and clock faces here. But it feels like this game is mixed and matched, and I have no idea where we're going to land because Clem is still bottled up on 4 bases. He's mined out of the first 2, whereas herO has gestures to most of the rest of the map, even though these Marines may actually take out the Nexus. Indeed they will. loads up another prism drop. How many Dark Templar? Only 11? Somehow, that feels low. Well, that's 2 warp prisms. This one had some zealots inside, which can't be rewarped in easily. herO spending everything. 3-3 is about to complete. Here are the disruptors. 4 Colossi. A potential tsunami of splash damage here. And the Vikings, are they up to the task? He's incinerating the front line. Purification Nova whipped out. Drives it away. The most dangerous force field. He's got another shot. Blinks forward. Try to snipe off the Vikings. Successfully doing so. 3 Colossi. Holding his disruptor. Keeping his powder dry. But he's not going to have much powder at this point if he doesn't fire it soon. And that's not what I meant. herO, what are you doing? There's a command center at the ends of the earth. Almost loses the Stalker. Those things are only 300 minerals, herO. Though 2 Stalkers is almost as many. If you count the gas, it's even more so. herO, it's a Nexus! Meanwhile, the Disruptor's EMP fires off the shots. Clem pops them beforehand at the most explosive tomato. The Colossi driven back, picks off another Viking. Disruptor wanders into the fray, wanders into the unit's lost tab, and herO! Well, Clem is still on 4 bases, and he has not been able to push back. He's been sitting, like, it feels like herO is losing these fights, and he is. But is he winning the war? It's the economy, stupid. No, generally, not you specifically. You are smart and handsome and breathtaking. Like and subscribe if you agree. If you don't like and subscribe, meanwhile, the Colossus, terrestrially bound, the Vikings, not nearly as limited, knocks down one, another one wishing it was dead. Clem makes his dreams come true. Meanwhile, though, the EMPs are helpful, but the medevacs are almost out of energy. Not because they got EMP'd, but because of the drug addiction of all the commands, everything just sending it off to the side. We'll deal with it later. The command center and the factory out here. The forgotten buildings. As this battle continues across the field. And by across the field, I mean this specific field. We've been fighting in this spot for like 6 minutes. And here comes herO again. Warping in from the nearby Nexus. Another Colossus taken down. Some of the boys are pulled. Vikings hit the deck. Yet another Warp Prism shows up. Yet another Warp Prism goes out. herO will lose the fight to the Bio Army, of course. But some more SCVs dead. Clem trying to expand into this awkward corner. The Stalkers just walk through the army. The pathing is Columbus-esque. Like, it's not a happy little accident. It's actually an international travesty. But we'll call it a win because Protoss need one right now. Clem survives the onslaught. He's killed 216 zealots. 5 Colossi, 2 Nexi down, almost twice as many, well, not almost twice as many resources, but still, it's up there. Clem cannot max out, but herO is still incredibly far off. Prism number 4 is in production, with Warp Prism speed on the way, which, of course, accelerates your ability to lose yet another Warp Prism. Clem drops the mules and carves out a valley from the income gap. And for the first time in over 10 minutes has the lead. In terms of income. Getting a new base for even a minute is a massive stimulus check to the Terran, and something that herO was trying to keep in check before Clem got here. But now his probes are mining every which way. He still has a huge amount of income and a huge amount of Nexi. But he has... well, does he have a way to deal with the fusion core, the advanced ballistics, the Caduceus reactor? I don't think so. The healthcare policy for the Terrans right now is looking good for the ones that survived. And this Darwinist Terran is certainly helping out against the significantly more fragile... There goes another prism! Another one bites, but maybe the 6th prism. Wait, there's 2 prisms. The prism... Nope. 5. How many? 4 warp prisms dead. But maybe the 5th prism will be the one. herO warps in another round. He tries to mine from another base, but Clem has hit 200 supply for the first time in the game. herO finally gets, well, maybe the 5th prism. The thing is, the army supply is 38 to 138. That's not a touch. Nope, 5 for 5. 22 probes dead. herO still has 1,800 minerals. The fusion core, he's running by. He gets into the base with yet another group of gateway units. And then he recalls them out. herO refuses to die. He's gonna die like he lived. Dramatically and also questionably. As at some point, you have to ask yourself whether or not you should, rather than whether or not you could. And that's a level of introspection I think we were never, ever going to see here from the #1 Protoss player in the world. As soon as he warped in the Blink DTs, I think the trajectory of this game was set. And it was gonna be a wild ride. But if Clem could stay on the horse, well, then he wins the rodeo. Can I get a hell yeah, brother? Or not, that's also fine. Anyways, old 2-shooter hits a shot. As usual, the only disruptor shot that connects is the one right before you type 2 Gs. And sure, herO is not going to tap out quite yet. But this death animation is just being extended. There it is! Clem survives. herO throws everything, and if he had a kitchen sink or two, I'm sure he would have thrown it in there. But Clem holds on. Just plays defense for 15 minutes straight. And the tide breaks. And the Clempire strikes back. Clem, 1-0. 263 zealots. 5 or... my. Mamma mia. herO giveth and herO taketh away. Oftentimes from herO. Game 2, Rorschach. So herO has demonstrated quite an array of builds on this map. Specifically against Clem. He wouldn't proxy Stargate Void Ray him again, would he? He 100% would. But the last 2 times I've seen herO play against Clem on this map, he's gone proxy Stargate. And the last 2 times, it's worked. You know what they say, fool me once. Fool me once, and I won't get fooled again. So... we'll see. 1, if we can count, and 2, what we can count on, but... herO's Forrest Gumpian Protoss style does not avail him of game #1. And it was so... it's all about that. That's when the universe split. That Cyclone with 1 HP, that's how Clem knew. If he kills that Cyclone, he puts the universe back on track. Clearly, that's what happened. Still better writing than Legacy of the Void, but still. And then they went in and saw the prophecy from many, many years ago. They looked into the temple, and looking back from the temple were the eyes of the Void. Now, how did the Void's eyes look? Like stars, but also very unlike stars. Simultaneously, really, we haven't determined that yet. We will eventually. But they're probably very glowy, and if they're red, you can tell it's bad. Unlike herO, who is red in this case, but he may be avenged and turn back to blue if he wins this game. What was I talking about? Like and subscribe, I think, was the keynote point there. Thank you for coming to my TEDx talk. I talk about Warren Buffett. Knowledge. 1 Rex expand, 1 gate expand. herO with decidedly few pylons on the other side of the map. Unique to this map against Clem, and unique to this series against Clem so far. The reckless aggression. And it's not... if it had worked, he looks like a genius. That's like 90% of herO, but... like, you have to keep it... there's a method to the meta. It's not just, let's see what happens. You need to keep... and you saw the medevac energy. This isn't always a real concern, but in this sort of scenario where you're playing a war of attrition, the medevacs are the force multipliers. And they run out of energy rather quick when you're stimming literally almost on cooldown. So that was what herO was trying, I guess generously, to drain, so that eventually the medevacs were not of enough help, and he could overwhelm. He knows that his army is probably not going to win the first fight. Maybe not the second, but the third, the fourth, the fifth. I can count high. I could do it. 6, 7? I don't... And yes, that's the plan, but not all plans survive contact with a Frenchman. Robo. Robo first is worthy of note, which is why I noted it, of course, but Observer and a Robo Bay? A Colossus Den? Well, is this a Disruptor drop? In this economy? Well, okay, maybe... So the Colossus was buffed slightly to have more base damage and less bonus against light, giving it the same amount of damage against Marines and SCVs, but more against Marauders and Cyclones. So that doesn't make it necessarily good, and it's still hard countered by exactly one Viking. It's a Colossus drop. herO just... He's got like a weekly quest. We got DT Blink, we have Colossus drop, next is gonna be like Carrier Rush, and then maybe a Cannon Rush. Checking off the things that would have been good clickbait in 2013 and aren't viable strategies if your name isn't named herO, and even then, like 80% of the time, it's still not worth it, but still he's gonna do it anyways. Which doesn't really fit on a mug, but we'll give our best shot. So, 2 base Colossus drop. Clem is very aware there's no third on the way, which is not super suspicious. But it's a little suspicious at this stage. He's even checking the gold because herO has been known to... I'm not saying he's a gold digger, but he prefers having more minerals than less. Let's put it that way. Who doesn't? Well, juggling the Colossus like a pirouetting elephant. And it's a remarkable... Like, it is quite elegant, the Colossus drop. Unfortunately, since the Colossus is made out of like toothpicks and massive unwieldy face, it does not have a ton of HP when faced with direct confrontation. A couple siege tank shots are enough to severely damage it. And of course the Protoss never figure out how to repair anything because that's beneath them. Oh, this is awkward. Okay. Alright, he saved. Wow, what a save! What a save! The Colossus who lived. So that's an air blocker, but the Colossus can go in it. My brain just exploded. I wonder if Clem's gonna figure it out. Oh, I mean, was this the plan from the start? He saves the Healing Shrine. And of course, it's going to be the gold base, I think, behind. But what a play. All right, Shakespeare. So, somewhat paradoxically, well, I guess if you can walk in, it counts. Because the Colossus is so huge, it can be hit from the air, but it is a ground unit, which means, and honestly, I had never thought about this interaction in my entire life. And we've only had healing shrines on like 3 different maps over the course of the last 5 years, so it's not really that relevant, but... And usually we don't let air units do it because they could abuse it too easily. But herO, leave it to herO with the 200 IQ play of healing his Colossus drop with the Shrine. And letting us know of the fact that technically a Colossus can go in there because an air being able to be hit by air doesn't mean you're blocked by air blockers. The more you know. Well, there's also other stuff going on. Honestly, the Colossus drop not really a big factor in this game so far, besides the emotional damage it's done. The Widow Mine dodges the shot. I think he successfully did so. The gold base is scouted, but the army's already out there. He splits off a drop. Charge is done. Still yanking the Colossus. Takes up all the space inside the Warp Prism somehow. You'd have to download it. You don't have enough bandwidth. So. He hallucinates an Archon and a Colossus trying to sell the idea. There is a Raven there, so it's not really going to do much, but it might buy him a second or two. Some more emotional support fields. But, oh, did the Warp Prism just die with all the Zealots inside? Because of course it did. Why wouldn't it have done that? herO yeets his Warp Prism into the unit's loss tab in a way that only herO can. The army getting a little disjointed, even the hallucinated Colossus getting distracted by the command center. The Zealots are closing in. Clem still has a decent army supply. This is only one Colossus. There are 3 Immortals underneath. But this isn't actually that... Well, it's +1 attack on either side. +2 is about to finish for herO. But if Clem pulls the boys... Actually, I think he could crush this. Again, herO with the strong aggression and a commanding position and a attention to detail that certainly has room for improvement. But the broad strokes here from herO, absolutely genius. But it's more of an impressionist painting of a strong attack. And this is not the way he's going to be making the Monet at the end of the tournament. Thank you, I'm here all night. No, ask your mother. But Immortals, again, the force fields. I feel like herO needs to remove the force field key from his keyboard. He's just going to click it then. But it is a rare day when it feels like force fields are both worth the energy and not active. Like, at the very least, the force fields ends up being kind of okay. But are they worth 150 energy on the sentries to mildly inconvenience 3 Marines? You can't put a price on that. I don't know if there's an energy to mineral conversion ratio, but now the drop. Clem is actually up 30 supply, as once again herO has kind of finagled his way out of a strong position into a much more interesting one, which is, of course, a nice way to put bad. But another Prism warping into the main directly in the mineral line. The Vikings will take it out, but that's a lot of charge lots. Of course, they're going to get cleaned up. There's also some more units here. I swear, sometimes I feel like it's a campaign mission with herO. Why are there 4 units in every part of the map? Clem is up 50 supply. But herO does have, well, he has the gold. Huh. The Raven somehow lived, though a strong gust of wind will deal with it. herO's going on. He's filled in the base at the top right corner. Clem now has 4 bases. So he's got a weird production tab of multiple barracks not building and some barracks actually building. One of those quirks of when something is interrupted. More command centers on the way, but... So herO's going to have +3, +2. Clem is working on 2-2. The drop. Marauders. Gonna just target the pylon, and no, not quite. And then everybody else is here. The Stalkers are piling in. Well, how many Vikings? 6 Vikings, 4 Colossi. Anti-armor missile whipped out. Did he repair the Raven? A little bit. Achievement unlocked. Unfortunately, can't put it at the healing shrine. I still can't get over that. That was amazing. It's the little things. Well, it's literally the largest things in the Colossi. Oh yeah, throw a hallucinated Colossus in there. Why not? The Raven's taken out, but EMP washes over. Kiting back. Clem shaves away the rest of the Zealots. There's another. Stop! Ah! herO! herO takes the time. There's a pylon within sensor tower range. herO will not stop. He will rule this sector or see it burnt to ashes around him. And that could be arranged, says Clem. I don't know. The ashes right now certainly looking more like the remnants of herO's army than Clem's as time goes on. But the Vikings, well, there's a lot of... herO has a 1 upgrade advantage. Vikings hit the deck. Another wave is warped in. Clem, his medevacs are out of energy. So herO's long-term plan of getting the Marines and Marauders addicted to stims and then not realizing, wait, okay, wait a second. The SCVs are pulled. The medevacs are almost entirely out of energy. Another wave. Send in another Gorgon. And in this case, a Gorgon, of course, would be another dozen Zealots and whatever robo units he's trickling across the map. But here we go. He continues forward. The supplies are even. And herO, like, the lack of medevac energy is a very important point. And that's what he's using to cut through. herO actually taking the supply lead because Clem can't replace this as quickly as he needs to. The weapons of mass production right now from herO. The medevacs, another big stim, disruptor, parts the blue sea. And another fadeaway shot. Clem dancing, ducking, dipping, diving, dodging away. But there's more disruptors where that came from. He's got 4 of them now. And there are 0 liberators, which is not very many. The disruptors fires another shot around the corner. This is a much better force field. Loses 1 Ruptor before it can fire. And, well, awkward angle. Disruptor shot. Gets a hit. Gets another one. Decent hit. The bio forced back. Guardian shield. More Ruptors. And, well, GG! herO wins! So that is an example of how you heal a Colossus, most importantly. But also the long-term plan that herO was meandering his way towards in Game 1. The specifics were different, but the literally run out of energy on the medevacs, so that way the Marines and Marauders can't successfully run away. A plan comes together. It might not be the most painless process for several hundred Zealots, but guess what? It worked. Can't mess with success, but I'm sure herO will. As we go into game number 3. herO reclaims the blue color of victory. Of course. The players are probably playing with player colors. They don't actually necessarily see what's in the lobby, but that's up to the admins to enforce if they're willing to do so. herO, so this is Wardi's Monday night tourney, which means herO wakes up at about 4 a.m. Korean time to play in this tournament, I believe. Maybe a little bit earlier. I think it's like 3 p.m. Eastern, which is... I think it's a day ahead, actually. It doesn't really matter. But herO, whenever you see herO in these anything but the biggest Korean tournaments, the Koreans are mostly playing at, like, the small hours of the morning. Now, Clem, of course, usually stays up that long, so... In fact, this is probably waking up early for Clem, too, like 7 p.m. It's been known to... Clem is a real gamer. I don't know if that's still the case, but it's happened before that he's... I can empathize. Command center first. Why not? 4-player map. herO, surprisingly, putting his gateway in his main base. Colossus drop into just throwing literally everything at them. Sure, why not? Well. Where'd it even go wrong? Honestly, I don't think it ever really went wrong for Clem. There was no fight where he overextended. It's just herO decides how the game is going to be played. And we're just all along for the ride. And he's decided it's a proxy Stargate, I think. He's going to split the difference. So the close vertical positions are disabled. He knows that Clem is not in the top right corner. But he doesn't technically know. This is a full gamble that Clem... Well, it's not much further from the top left in cross positions than it is from the bottom left, so... And it's much less likely to be scouted in the corner. Doors and corners. That's where they get you. Stargate? Yeah. There we are. Now, what's coming? It's got to be an Oracle, right? Like, Clem went for... He's going for a 2-1-1. The 2 barracks factory. It's likely just 2 medevacs full of Marines. An old build, but it certainly checks out. Not sure how this stacks up against Proxy Oracle. The risk is just not having any units in your mineral line to deal with it, but he's already in a pretty good spot economically. Is he building a Cyclone? He's actually trading out that add-on. Kept it warm for him. Oracle's on the way. He's now narrowed down. He scouted cross positions, nothing there. Sending a few adepts across, but I do feel like Clem... He's going to have a Cyclone about the time the Oracle gets into the base. Now, there's 3 adepts, which are enough to one-shot. Yeah, this is... he's going to get a few kills. And it really depends on the adepts now, because the Cyclone may actually just... The immediate recall. So, herO racks up 4 SCVs, and he gets out with the Oracle. That's very important. Gonna get another one, and he gets out with all the adepts so far, batting 1,000. And sure, we're just gonna expand to the 12 o'clock again, because of course we are. It is very unlikely. Well, does Clem even know where herO lives? He has an idea, but again, it's another scenario of... Does he need to? Because it's pretty clear what the spread of builds is right now. The Marines, 2 more walking out. It's going to try to kill an SCV, but he's digging maybe a bit too deep, too greedily. He gets out. There's no healing shrine. And it probably wouldn't work for air anyways. Cyclone, looking to intercept. A Phoenix, looking to undercept. Nope. Still intercept, actually, technically, but... Wanted to come up with something clever that was... Anyways. Words. I have spoken, unfortunately. So, Clem scouts cross positions. He knows this is a proxy. He's just hedging his bets that herO would have expanded. He's right. Meanwhile, the siege tank push is coming across. Cyclone locks on. Finds an adept out there. herO has... Oh.
Dead, Jim.
Well, the Oracle got into the main, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. But that's not enough. He has a smorgasbord of basic gateway units. He just depowered the shield battery, targeting the gateway. Clem should have enough to potentially just win the game here. But, well... And, picks up the Cyclone, but the positioning of the shield... It's bad. It's real bad. I mean, he has Stim. Just the Marines would be enough here, but... herO, okay. Is he gonna recall to the north? He could. A scan. That recall is incredible. Where did he go? Where did he come from? Where did he go? Where did he come from? Pro by Joe. Ugh. I don't... Like, what? Where did the... Where's the recall? Blink is done. The Stalkers are trying to give him the runaround here. The missile turret outflanks an Oracle. He can't recall out, if you recall. The recall he just did. Cancels combat shield, puts it on another one. He would have gotten the money back, but he saves another second or two. And herO has somehow not lost the game yet. But, well, these blinks are getting incredible trades. But... here we are again. Hello, darkness, mild. herO trying to find a way to slither out of this one, but I don't think there's any amount of grease that he can apply that is going to allow him to escape from this situation. +1 infantry weapons. Well, Blunk's forward. Gonna lose the sentry, which is certainly not great. Clem picks up Stalker. Blink is on cooldown. If there were no siege tanks and charge was done. herO is long distance rallying probes back to his natural. And using, okay, another example of, oh, you've gone too far. Oh, it's a disaster. Okay, all right, herO. Just the fact that there was even a dream of turning this around is a testament and a testimony against herO at the same time. The fact we found ourselves in this situation, and the fact he had a, not a good chance, but any chance of getting out of it, is, it is. But there and back again. Clem comes back, cleans up the shenanigans, and goes back forward with even more than the last time. And herO might have charge, but he cannot charge enough to bribe Clem out of this one. It's 2-1. A bit of a disaster piece, but certainly a fun one. The proxy Stargate into proxy Nexus into not having any units into still somehow making a game of it is still somehow not enough. Clem on match point. Probe right off the bat. Looking to create some serious problems on the other side. So, proxy Stargate, check it off the bingo card. Get your weekly quest done. That means it's time. I don't think we can do a cannon rush. Mothership? What? Alright. Crouching probe, hidden pylon. The remix. Does this work, or does this just go horribly wrong? Is this gonna be the dumbest? He just saw it with his eyes, right? You can just put a bunker. Well, okay. So this is the. So herO also doesn't know that Clem knows that this is happening. herO's coming in with the probe. I feel like this SCV coming in from this angle is already suspicious. But yeah, herO shouldn't know that Clem knows about the gateway. But that SCV was a little suspicious. There's a bunker, like, did he see the bunker? Okay, now he's gonna pretend like he's just scouted it. I guess he was... What? He cancels the bunker. Does he know for sure it's a zealot? Okay. All right, here we are. I'm just gonna stop trying to predict. We'll just let it happen. Just... All right. Give me the production tab. All right, the cyber core on the way. Concussive shells. Marauder for Clem. Don't try to interpret the divine workings of whatever tomfoolery, whatever cinnamon toast fuck this is. It's now proxy adept. Gimme, I'm feeling a robo, actually. hero's like, no, Nobo, sentry. You see, this is what happened. I'm like, he'll get tech. hero's like, I'm gonna get a sentry. My build is 1 adept and 1 sentry. And I'm like, hero, you're not that old. Like, that's 70 years younger than that. But hero, The adept completes the shade. We'll rub its nose up against this. The marauders. There's the robo. I assume Protoss have a very keen sense of smell. No accounting for taste. Obviously. Okay. So the SCV comes around again for a scout, and he's gonna see a Nexus that's almost done and a shield battery alongside the sentry that kills him. So, now the thing about this map is the ramp. All right. The ramp up to the high ground is a semi-rare, I think only about a third of maps have it, conundrum. So this specific scenario, where Clem has Marines and Marauders but no starport units yet, means he just can't go up that ramp. That's why expanding and relying on the sentry is significantly more stable. Because there's no way he's getting up that ramp with Marines. If this was a map like our previous one, Old Sun Temple, there's no ramp to the natural. You can just walk up and start kiting with the Marines and Marauders. It might not be a good idea, but it's certainly more effective than walking face first into the darkness. That's a hero move. You know what else is a hero move? Getting the entire tech tree before building any additional units. We've got a Warp Prism on the way, a Stargate. Just need a Twilight Council. We can get the full... We'll just call that the shrubbery build and check off the rest of the bingo boxes. So, what is the Warp Prism for? Immortal drop? Oh, why not a second Stargate? I didn't have Mass Phoenix on my card, but did you? So who's got it? Maybe herO has it. Feels like that's kind of cheating, but somehow not as much as any other. He's going I swear. Okay, it has to be some sort of challenge. This is the most schizophrenic series I've seen from herO in a while, and that is absolutely saying something. Immortal drop into Mass Phoenix. And you know what? I think it's actually... That's a great idea. Because he's baited out the strong defense. There's no way, like, he has double Stargate. He saw one Stargate, which is okay. But then suddenly there's going to be like 8-10 Phoenixes. With +1 air. And he's been hallucinating Phoenixes the whole time. So, what's even real anymore? What is real? What does any of this mean? Like and subscribe for Existential Dread. Well, so... Oh, Robo Bay, sure. We're gonna go Colossus Phoenix, which... Oh yeah, the Immortal drop is still happening, to some extent. Backs off with some of them, but great micro, and without even a Viking. My... herO exploding knowledge bombs right now like a truth terrorist. Oh my. This is... He is somehow doing every Protoss chat. Like, U-Thermal is out of content for the next 2 months with this. herO has covered it all in a single series. Now, to be fair, it hasn't gone great, but to be even more fair, it's gone way better than if anyone else had even gotten close to attempted this. And this very well... Well, he needs a Colossus. Without a Colossus, he's just going to get run over by Marines. So... The third base spot, there's going to be a Colossus. No extended thermal lance yet. herO specifically requested the Buddha build here. Make me one with everything. Okay. Well, we don't have a Twilight still. The scan. What do you even make of this? There's one gate. He's adding a second. There's a Robo and a Stargate both producing currently. I feel like the Colossi are kind of implied. 4 Vikings at a time is certainly a strong answer to both potential options. I guess if he went Disruptors, that would be both confusing and potentially effective. herO doesn't have an incredible economy, so we can't... Like, despite that, what the... 14 Phoenixes in a fleet beacon and a Twilight. Okay, well, there we are. The whole tech tree. The whole Buffalo. Gonna pick up some of these. He's trying to... Well, he could land the Vikings, but not if there's no land to land on, I said profoundly. Picks up some of the SCVs. There's nothing in the main. Nice little rapid-fire slide by here. Gonna take out... He might be able to just recall. Takes out another. Gets a medevac as well. Gonna lose a couple Phoenixes, but I think it's worth it. Like 100%. Phoenix range. Honestly, a mothership would be a great addition. Of course, motherships aren't free. And much like herO, he can't afford to charge a lot. Just started. Raven. Well, came to the wrong neighborhood. Five Vikings at a time from Clem. The upgrades are sparse. It's going to be 1-1 from Clem. +1 air weapons for herO. He's getting a Templar Archives now. Single Marine. herO taking his 4th base. What an army. But he doesn't have a lot of meat with his potatoes here. Which... Yeah, okay, well... And then the fight... Okay, we're fighting. The fight's happening. Unfortunately, herO's just going to lose, like... Colossus and an Immortal. Kind of off to the side. The rest of the army... Well, that was not the ideal start. The army just kind of stumbled into it. And now the Vikings and Cyclone are picking things up. It feels like this build is great right up until you actually have to try to fight with it. In which case you realize, oh, he could just target the Colossi here. Or he could just kill them because there's nothing to stop the Marauders from tearing right through. Huh. He's got, oh, there's the carrier! Did you guys get your carrier? I know some of you out there had carriers on your card. That was a bold move, but heroes, and there's the mothership! Sure, you're about to die to 50 supply of Terrans to be across the map. Perfect time to get a mothership started. Might as well. Go big or go home. And that's, both involve your mother. So, the Phoenixes, this is a better fight. Wait, no, he's gonna lose all the Phoenixes, right? Because the Vikings hit the Marines, and here's a carrier. And a carrier, which is not the ideal number. One carrier is way worse than 0 carriers, by the way. That's just math. Because you paid for a whole carrier. And there it goes. So herO, it does not come together today. And it all falls apart quite dramatically. But what a ride. Bringing us to our anti-spoiler bonus game. So that way you can't be sure if Clem just walked over him or if herO pulled out another proverbial or maybe literal rabbit out of a hat. So we have just another quick dessert, if you would. A nice special cheese with our specialist players. That sounded weird, but we got Percival versus herO on Rorschach. And herO, of course, scouted at the beginning of the game with a probe and is going to harass the SCVs in the workplace. But Clem, just with a somewhat remarkable amount of mental stability, holds on, doesn't get tilted, just maintains a solid foundation while herO is dancing around him. Like, something like that. And for those of you just listening, just imagine me prancing. Okay? Whatever you think that looks like, you're right. So, I know this is really the podcast channel where you watch me have a slight mental health crisis as herO tries to induce one in Clem. Or everyone else, but mostly Clem. And speaking of, not Clem, mental health. Anyways, there's a proxy pylon right outside. He didn't go for it against Clem, but Percival may be a softer target. And I assume this is a Stargate. He's got a Zealot. Percival actually scouted for proxy gates, so he knows that much. But that wasn't the gates he should have been looking for. The Stargate on the way. Because of course it is. Right outside the base. I think Percival's got a feeling here. Now, most Terrans assume that there's a Protoss cheesing them at all times. They don't assume strongly enough, because Percival just built a 3rd command center. And sure, that's only 300 minerals. But I feel like spending 300 minerals on a command center is not great for your long-term life expectancy when there is somebody building a Stargate literally on your front porch. But you never know. You kind of know, but the Zealot will wonder why they never designed something more than laser swords. Softened up a couple. He's going to come back in for more. Gets one. And the Zealot going to slice through a Marine. And somehow herO comes out of it. The SCV. 1 HP Zealot. But he gets another SCV for his troubles. And the trouble won't end here for Percival. The Oracle is done. There are 2 Marines. So, okay, there's now, they doubled their number, but the Oracle cutting through it. The Adept is also here, mostly for moral support. And he's entirely limited by just energy. He's going to finish the work. The probe started. Getting enough damage there, but runs out of energy. And hero's still looking for that Red Bull sponsorship. Me too. All right, I don't... We're pretty much the same. So Percival, well, he went 3cc against one base Stargate, which is... Honestly, if he survived this, I would have been very upset. But it is a... hero's going to take the gold. Of course. Of course. And there is still a dream, because the oracles continually run out of energy. Of course, they regain it. The adepts have been knocking on the door for a while. That reactor is burning. Carrick is burning. His chances are he lights up the oracle for a few more seconds, but really... Okay. Well, there's a missile turret now. Unfortunately, it's a long walk from the barracks to the missile turret. And now the adepts are in. Okay. Yes, the anti-spoiler game is just watching herO slowly melt Percival. And Percival refusing to come to terms with that fact. And would you have it any other way? That's not an option. That was not an option. You don't get to answer that. That was rhetorical. It is a little bit sad, though. Like, I don't want to call it too early, but I feel like... I feel pretty confident in saying herO has something of an advantage in this game. Because he has 4 oracles in the base, and Percival has barely that many Marines, and he's stuck in his main mineral. There's a I mean, technically, he does have 3cc, which gives Percival an income advantage with mules. And the Marine count is high enough that he's actually killing. He's killed 2 of the oracles. He's got to get 3. And, okay... herO, what are you doing? Oh, there's a probe. Wow. He's like, I was just measuring the drapes. This would be a nice spot for a nexus. There's the force field, but I think he let a few too many Marines down. Well, the Oracle has enough energy to drizzle some more pulsar beams all over his face. Oracle with 7 kills, 2 HP, 0 fucks, and now we're just looking for 2 Gs out of Percival. As herO with a proxy pylon, a very optimistic bunker, and, alright, that's enough. He's warping it, yep, 3 gates done. I'm calling it. Percival, we've got... herO doesn't actually have that much more supply, which is hilarious, but it is literally just... He still hasn't killed the bunker. This is... Yep, there it is. herO eventually gets through it. But we see what he does to non-Clem Terrans, and sometimes to Clem Terrans, but certainly one of the more diverse, strategical... Somehow, herO is all of the strategical diversity in a single player, in a single series. That is the most freestyle series I have seen from herO in a while. And I've seen a lot of series from herO in the last while. It didn't work out, so... Probably has to rate it in just a bit, but it was certainly something. So I hope it made your day at least a little bit better. And thank you for watching. If you got the means of motivation, you also check out Patreon, YouTube membership. But if you're liking and subscribing, it's still free, at least for now. Thank you to our top tier patrons and members. Big Jiggy, Decro, Devin, Dormag, Mario, P. That's it. And Sasquatch. And everyone. I hope you still enjoy. Make sure to check out this video, Jimmy. Picked it out just for you. Thank you for watching. Make sure to check out the second channel, Winter Gaming TV, for my playthrough the Legacy of the Void roguelike campaign. Been having a lot of fun with that. Beating the entire campaign with just battle probes. So I would like to think herO would be proud. Please be proud of it. Anyways, thank you for watching. Hope to see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Meet you.